Okay, and today we're about to wrap up the what I believe to be the last round of our cooling system mods on our H3 Alpha conversion. These trucks are known to run hot after this conversion goes down. There's a thing about the radiator that gets used for them. We convert them to this big thick aluminum radiator that takes up the max dimensions for the size it can go in. And so the radiator gets butted hard up against the condenser and the two are like touching each other. But also the aluminum radiator has all metal and all aluminum construction. So the tabs it bolts to that holds it to the condenser just really help the radiator and condenser share their temperatures with each other. But the two cores being butted up against each other so close is not good for airflow at all. There needs to be a gap there. So we've done that this time. We've replaced the condenser. The old condenser with the truck had a lot of miles on it. I think it had like 200,000 miles on it, and it showed its age. So we got a fresh condenser that flows great, and we've made some careful modifications to the core support to allow the condenser to come forward. And instead of the condenser sliding down into its locking tabs, what we've done is we've drilled holes through the locking tabs that it would slide down in, both on the condenser and on the radiator, and we've used bolts with bushings to create a spacing to push the condenser a little bit forward and give us just this much space between the two for the flow. Also, for the fan, we had been using a little 12-inch torque flow fan right here, torque flow. We get these little guys from any local vendor, and they flow anywhere from 8 to 1200 CFM for the 12-inch, which is not bad. But we got a Derale 2150 CFM 12-inch fan. This fan pushes a lot more airflow, like twice the amount of what this fan was doing. And also, the fan on the backside has been upgraded to a Flex-A-Lite Wave 238 3000 CFM fan. So together we're flowing a little over 5000 CFM and at high speed, and that's what needs to happen, right? Since this car comes back to us this time, it's not really overheating as it comes back to us, but the fans are on the verge. They're at their max capability and they're just holding the car at temperature. When the fans come on high speed, on a good cooling system, the temperature needs to start coming down, and you know you got extra capacity and you can control temperatures. But when the fans come on high speed and they just hold that temperature, or you see any degrees above the commanded high speed on temperature, that's just a weak cooling system that needs attention. And another problem that we've had with this cooling system is going down the road, the fans still stay on, they stay on high, and it's not really shedding the temperatures like it should. The aluminum shroud that goes in with this big radiator has these louvers on these four corners of it that have little slits that let a little bit of airflow through them. What we've done is we've cut the louvers out at all four corners of the shroud, so there's just four big gaping holes on the sides of the shroud. This will allow more airflow to pass through the radiator and condenser as the truck is driving into air, instead of just what's coming through the diameter of the fan right in front of the radiator. On the factory, or not the factory, but on the fan that came with this shroud, the fan was bolted to the outside of the shroud, and there was a little gap between the radiator and the shroud. And if we want to say, okay, air could come out, make sharp ends, but now with the Flex-A-Lite fan, it's a little bit thicker, so we had to modify the shroud and mount the fan on the inside of the shroud. So now there's a very little clearance between the actual fan and the shroud that might not promote this vacuum getting out to the outer corners of the shroud. So it was a prudent measure for us to remove these louvers anyway, and we removed 2, 4, 6, 8 of them total, and it flows a lot better. We're getting ready to put it all back together. Before we do, we also modified our brace for the hood latch. I had to cut the sides out of it from here down to here, I only removed half of the material on the sides, so it still has strength to it. And another thing we've been noticing on this is we've been having high IATs. The inlet air temps have just been really hot. The motor is just breathing in hot air. It's hot engine bay air. We have a short ram air filter that is right here next to the radiator. And this whole wall of the firewall is pretty, or the core support is pretty sealed up pretty well. There's one round hole over here on the fender where the stock air box would have drawn air from for the 5-cylinder, the 3.7 liter. On this side, we have a nice little opening for the AC line and to go up to the battery and stuff like that. So what I've done is I've mimicked that over here on this side. I've cut down, and instead of just making a big open hole for the sake of a little bit of rain protection, I just cut down and I folded the metal out on the core support. So I have a nice big channel of air that's not a straight through shot, but it's got to come in at a little bit of an angle. And this hopefully will let a lot more fresh air come in and get into the air filter and help reduce the inlet air temps. As a tuner, I've got to tune the IAT timing tables so we're not pulling any timing away from these higher temps. You know, we have good calibrated knock sensors, so we're okay. It's not degrading engine performance, but that is something that I noticed that we should take care of, and so we're doing something about that as well, fill it back together. Everything is done already. We're getting ready to button it back up. We just got to get the nose on the truck, get the AC pulled down and charged up, and fire it up and see what we get. Hopefully this will be the last round of it, and I feel good that it will be. Second shift performance.